There are reports that they found debris of these UAPs, as well as the bodies of some of these extraterrestrials. How true, how false, and if it is true, if they are finding bodies, if it's true, so you're the expert, that's what I'm asking. If maybe it's false, someone's going to ask, well, hold on, demons, how do they die and leave bodies?
Right. And that's a very valid question, because demons can't, and my thesis, I'm trying to give my critics as much benefit of the doubt as possible. And I'm trying to, I should rephrase that. I'm trying to give the opposing side here as much strength as possible. The more falsifiable a thesis is, the stronger it is if it has not been falsified. This is Karl Popper's thesis, basic in the philosophy of science. And it's correct. If you conjure up an unfalsifiable thesis, then it's almost by definition weak. And that's not true in all contexts. But belief in aliens is unfalsifiable, because every time you refute one alien deception, they'll just say, "Oh yeah, but there's still aliens out there." But my view that aliens don't exist, think about how easy that is to falsify. All I need is one corpse, one UFO, ideally one alien to actually sit down and talk with, and that'll never happen. And of course, there's always claims. We've been hearing these claims for 80 years now. We've never seen a single piece of evidence for it. They come up with the Jaime Maussan in Mexico last year. He came out with this supposed alien corpse. It was a child's dead body from some archaeology site, or he came out with this paper mache thing once also. It's laughable, and yet they really promote these claims because they really want to refute those who say this is diabolical. And yeah, I'll fully admit, aliens cannot incarnate themselves. They cannot leave a corpse for study. Some would go so far as to say, some people would argue that demons can leave some permanent objects, not a full fake, not an actual alien body. That would be too much. But there are some reports in exorcisms, I believe, of various artifacts. But I'm not sure, and I've got to do more research on this. I'm not sure if those are actually things that the demons, because the demons cannot create. Only God can create. Yeah. So they would have to, I would lean towards thinking that when the subject that is being exorcised coughs up a nail or something, I would guess that that's something that the demons pushed that person to swallow before the session, and that person forgot doing it, or something like that. But it's conceivably possible the demons could manifest something like that by collecting molecules present from something, but they cannot ever mimic God's design. They can't create a living creature. They can't do that. So yeah, feel free to consider me refuted if you can actually present an alien body for study. But that will never happen. You'll be told it's happened, because this great deception, they'll need to pull out all the stops. They'll claim it's happened. They'll claim they have a UFO. But look at who's allowed to see it. Look at who's allowed to study it. Who look at the resumes of the people that they allow to see it. Are these people that are already known for defending the ET deception, or do they let true skeptics in? Do they let people who are truly dispassionate in? They won't. This will all be managed very carefully.
Speaking of people who are encouraging deception, someone mentioned Bob Lazar, Steven Greer as well. You've heard of him,
Oh yeah.
I want to ask. I just saw an interview he did with Vlad just recently. Did you see it came out?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And even on The Age of Deception, I was watching it. In The Age of Deception, these high-ranking government officials, military, etc., even Greer says that anyone who thinks they're demons, we're pretty much crazy out of our minds. Mm. So I want to ask you two things about them. Okay, they claim they've seen some of these debris. They've been in meetings with high-ranking people, and Greer even claims that they're bodies. How do I say this? Do you think a person like Greer really believes what he's saying, or is he part of the deception? And why do you think they are adamant to censor and demonize, pun intended, those who say these are demons? Because I saw what he said. He goes, we're crazy. We're nuts if you say they're demons. Then he mentioned something that was very sad. You saw it then. He said that he spoke to a high-ranking...
Oh, did he?
Yes, in the Vatican Church, saying, look, we know angels and demons don't eat crabs, so we're convinced they're aliens. Address that as well. Why would a high-ranking Catholic official encouraged this man who's not a Christian to say, yeah, we're on board with you. The Catholic Church is on board with you. They're aliens because angels and demons don't fly around in crafts, as if that's not part of their deception. Could you address these things?
Exactly. That is such an unspeakable tragedy. The tragedy, the case of Monsignor Corrado Balducci. So earlier in this stream, when I alluded to one or two exorcists being delusional on this, and almost all the exorcists who have spoken about this have condemned this. They said, yeah, this ET UFO stuff is diabolical. Balducci is the one who didn't. Balducci was a Vatican exorcist theologian in the 1990s and early 2000s. He went viral. He became a celebrity on Italian television for saying that these ultra-evolved extraterrestrials are here. They're here to intervene for us and save us. Human nature is this pathetically unevolved thing. He repeatedly said this. He says this human nature is so pathetically unevolved. And what does that say about Jesus Christ?
Yeah,
well, it's blasphemy against Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ had a human nature. He was like us in all things but sin. He really had, he really was a God and man. But anyway,
uninvolved man.
Exactly. We're not waiting for some new evolutionary step. The very notion itself is diabolical. The man is already the pinnacle of the universe. Anyway, the ET deception is often very bound up in Catholic and Christian circles with the deceptions of Father Teilhard de Chardin, the Jesuit priest who tried to turn evolution into a religion, and unbelievably, he's actually embraced by many Catholics to this day. But Monsignor Balducci, yeah, he went crazy about this. I think he became Father Carlos Martins, a great man. He pointed out, he's an exorcist, and he pointed out that some exorcists can become a plaything in the devil's mind games.
Yes.
They can become, and this, I'm not saying this is often, but they can actually become deceived by the very demons they're trying to cast out of others. And that happened to Balducci. And there's another one also it's happened to today. I don't want to name names right now, but so Balducci meets with Greer in the Vatican, and he encourages him and he endorses him. And because of that endorsement, I think this was a pivotal thing in sending Greer full-blown into diabolical territory. Since that day, I think in the 1990s, Greer has been convinced that Catholicism stands behind him because Balducci encouraged him and endorsed him. He still puts Balducci's endorsement in his books sometimes. And Greer, he is probably the worst of the diabolical UFO charlatans here. I don't know if he believes it. I don't know if he's perfectly possessed or if he's just a fraud. I don't know. I mean, he's certainly done some fraudulent things. Like one, actually, I think Jimmy Akin did a good expose on this. So we got to give him credit where it's due. There was one case where, Greer's one of the many ufologists who says, oh, we can summon, he uses some toy, but he calls it like an interdimensional transmitter or something to beckon the UFOs. But what he did was he arranged for a friend of his to fly by an airplane and drop a firework off of it for this group of people. So yeah, he's a fraud, but I think he probably does believe it because of the degree of zeal is really pretty remarkable from him. And his app, CE5, don't download it. Don't even look into this as a curiosity. He gives you an absolute instruction manual for becoming diabolically possessed under the disguise of making contact with the extraterrestrial UFOs. And it's all about you have to open yourself up to them, which of course makes no sense if they actually are extraterrestrials. I don't have to open myself up to any other physical being I interact with and as an exchange. You don't have to give your fiat to the cashier at Walmart when you're buying something. But you have to give this open, this invitation, this fiat to let the devil in. And that is what all of this UFO ET stuff is the most perfect disguise for in the whole history of the world since the serpent, the original disguise, the original non-human intelligence deception. And of course, it's not the only one. The devil is always using disguises to dialogue, whether it's a seance. Oh, you really want to talk with your deceased relative, don't you? Well, come to this diviner and they can do this special session and you can start actually speaking with your deceased mother or something. No, that's not how it works. You do that the devil can so easily make a fake apparition of your deceased relative and dialogue with you. And as soon as you start dialoguing with the devil, you've already lost, because none of us are smart enough to dialogue with him. But he's found the most convenient disguise ever with this UFO stuff, because it is completely unique and unprecedented in how it's happening. It's a global phenomenon. We're being told it's real by official channels now. We're being told it's real by a prevailing myth, science fiction, and we're being told it's real increasingly by individuals in the church. So all of these things are converging in one perfect diabolical storm right now with this.
Did you guys hear what Greer's offering you? Don't go do it. You Catholics, this is condemned, and Christians, it's condemned. Don't you dare go do it and download it. What does this tell you again? The connection with demons and aliens, that you can actually channel them to make contact with. In other words, you're acting like a medium, a channeler, a spiritist. You see, guys, see the connection again? You note, what does the Bible condemn? Being a medium, a spiritist, a channeler, to allowing these spirits to work through you and possess you. What do these individuals who are promoting this alien belief on us, that they're not demons? Or you can open yourself up to them. You can then channel them, and then they can come in contact with you. If this is not proof, this is demonic, I don't know what is. So, yeah, you kept mentioning that this is part of their belief in the evolution of man. So I'm going to ask you an obvious question. Now, I hope, again, I believe Genesis 1-11 is history. And I believe the early church believed it's history. And I believe God created Adam and Eve the way the Bible says. Sadly, we have some, not just Catholics, but Christians, who say it's mytho-history and it's open up to all interpretations. I've noticed now there's a connection with what I would call macroevolution, evolution of species, with alien contact and the evolution of humanity, that the aliens are important to help us evolve. Mm-hmm. So is there a direct correlation between evolutionary theory and this openness to the alien contact? Because you kept saying this will help us in our evolution to evolve. That sure sounds like the theory of evolution being played out in this scheme with aliens. So yeah, what's the connection there?
So there's two levels of the connection here. First of all, the more general kind of, cliche idea of evolution, which is not so much Darwin's theory, which I reject. I'm like you. I believe Genesis is true history. I don't believe in evolution at all. But the more general idea of evolution, just this idea that everything's just automatically improving over time, kind of leaving aside the whole Darwinian natural selection stuff. That more general idea is pivotal to alien expectation, because these people believe that the mere passage of time guarantees that things get better. And of course, the opposite is true. Actually, things tend to decay over time and get worse on their own, if an order is not imposed upon them from above to improve them. So just look at my glasses. More and more people need these. Genetics don't get better over time; they get worse. But anyway, the presupposition behind, like, anybody who believes in aliens, there's almost no one different from this among those who believe in aliens. They believe they're far superior to us because they've been around for millions. Greer is always saying this. He says they've had millions, maybe even billions more years than us to evolve. So they must be so incredibly advanced. And if only they can pierce into our earth here and contact us and tell us their secrets, then they can give us the secrets of their evolution, and that can enable us to take an evolutionary leap. And all of this is so diabolical, and the theological version of it actually comes, as I said before, from Father Teilhard de Chardin. And he was one of the early big shot Catholic theologians to endorse alien belief. He said Jesus is yet to become incarnate on many other worlds, and he's already become incarnate in many others, and it was completely diabolical, of course. But this idea that evolution, that there's this evolution is the real revelation, the real essence of the universe, is this natural ascendancy towards some omega point, he said. They all talk about this omega point. And sure, he kind of identifies it with Jesus Christ, but really that's just an afterthought. Really, what Chardin wants to do is create a new religion. And almost all of the people who are in the theological movement defending alien belief, they defer to him. Even the Catholics, and even though he's been condemned by the church, there's a huge effort afoot to rehabilitate him. There's a petition. I think even some higher men in a hierarchy have signed it. Don't quote me on that, because I how can I say don't quote me on that when I'm on a live stream? Of course, people are going to quote me on that. but some big shots have signed it. They're trying to get him declared a doctor of the church. Now, I don't believe that'll ever happen, but who knows these days. Anyway, he was a major avenue of deception here. This idea that evolution guarantees the progress of things is why many people believe in aliens in the first place. They think that all you need is a bunch of matter, give it enough time, and eventually it's going to become life. And eventually it's going to become rational life, and eventually it's going to become ultra advanced civilizations. Now, the outlandishness of that proposition is embedded into this thing called the Drake equation. Francis Drake, he came up with this equation supposedly proving extraterrestrials. And a lot of people called it the second most important equation in history after E equals MC squared. And this became a big thing in the 60s. And Frank Drake, goodness, I'm getting on a tangent. I'll stop this in a moment. Frank Drake started SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, the official government-backed initiative to find aliens with our radio telescopes and communicate with them. This is what Carl Sagan's movie Contact was based off of, and he wrote the book, which is another version of it's still the ET deception, but it's the other avenue of it. It's not as popular as the UFO deception, but it's still big. And I think it might actually be the Joker card they pull out soon. Say, okay, we've actually finally made radio contact with aliens, and here's their revelations. That would be the perfect deception, because they don't even need to pretend to present a UFO or something. They can just say, "Oh no, just trust us. We heard with our radio signals what the aliens are telling us." Anyway, why did Frank Drake do this? He said it openly. He said, "I hope to find from an extraterrestrial civilization the grand instruction book on how to live forever."
Wow.
Just like the devil in the garden, you will not die. But it all flows from this idea that evolution guarantees these things. And if only we can contact a civilization that's had it longer than us to evolve, we can learn their secrets, and we can take the next step in our evolution by our own volition.
Wow. You know, it's ironic. You're spot on. Those who hold to evolutionary theory of origins are more prone to accept aliens, such as Jimmy Akin. He believes pretty much Genesis can be interpreted in a variety of ways, and it holds to evolution. So it's ironic that you're right. Those who are more prone to alien life are those who abandon Genesis 1-11 as sacred history of our origins. There's a connection. So now the final thing I want to add here, Steven Spielberg wants to release this film, Discovery, not Discovery. Yeah, that's what it's called, Discovery, right? Because I get it confused.
Disclosure Day.
Disclosure, yeah. I get it confused with Age of Disclosure. I've also been told that supposedly he got a memo. I don't know if it's true or not. Release this film because they want to prepare people for something cosmic. Some are saying 2027. I don't know. But if it's true, they're now desensitizing you because they want you to be prepared. What's going to show up then? If they're preparing us for something to accept these things, are they trying to prepare us for their appearance to us, that they're going to show up and we're going to have to now deal with them and embrace them? What are they setting this up for? What is this discovery about? What's in their agenda?
Spielberg has been grooming us for 50 years. He is the chief storyteller of the world. And people have been laughing at me because I've been saying this for years. Beware Spielberg. He is going to be a major outlet of deception. And I hope that the people who laughed at me for saying that 3 years ago are suddenly now seeing why I said that. He is explicitly saying, this is not fiction, this is real. I'm trying to create a belief system with this. I'm trying to make disclosure happen faster. This is the greatest event in our history. He's presenting it all with Catholic imagery and bogus Catholic theological arguments. And he also just came out, I think maybe yesterday, and said that this is about empathy for others and that we are actually the aggressors here and the aliens are the good guys. He is trying to get us to have, literally, as the song says, sympathy for the devil. That's not how he's phrasing it. He's not going to be saying aliens or demons. You can just be rest assured of that. He wants us to believe this is real. Disclosure is happening. It's going to change everything. That this is going to be the most monumental event in history. And he has been grooming this for us since Close Encounters of the Third Kind in 1977. But actually earlier, when his very first film, when he was 18 years old, this film doesn't exist anymore, Firelight, his first feature film was about UFO disclosure and a guy fighting to make the US government admit the truth about aliens. He's coming full circle now. He wants to, I believe he wants to define himself as his first movie's chief protagonist. He wants to be the hero of disclosure. He's been preparing this for many, many years. And I am very concerned about what this movie is going to do to the masses. Just make them salivate and become so giddy for the idea that aliens are here to intervene for us and that this will change everything. So be on guard against that. As soon as it comes out, I'll be coming out with a commentary on whatever diabolical stuff it has in it.
Amen.